Talk, shop, pop, movies.
Ahoy there, this is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile, and if you're a convicted cinephile yourself, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. On my channel, I like to talk, shop, and pop open, that is, movies and physical media, and I'm back. Like 2 minutes after I did my SAG Award thing, then the DGA nominees apparently were announced. I haven't looked at them yet, but little birdie told me they were announced. So here comes that video, and then I'll look at the other Guild nominees that came out that I haven't covered yet because I've been meaning to, and I just haven't gotten around to it. So I think we got the Makeup Guild, the Costume Guild, and the Art Directors Guild for sure, and plus the DGA. We'll start with the DGA because that is, let's be honest, the most important. No offense to these other amazing categories. I haven't cheated. Here are the DGA nominees for a theatrical film. You kind of see them right there quick, but I'll scroll down. We have Greta Gerwig for Barbie. No surprises there. Yorgos Lanthimos for Poor Things. Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer. Alexander Payne got in for The Holdovers. That's awesome. I love Alexander Payne. And so does the DGA. So I'm not shocked he got in here. But will he make the final five at the Oscars? He's always strong. He'll always get in for almost like if his movie gets in, he gets in. It's one of those things. Like he got in for Nebraska, even though that had no way in hell it was going to pretty much win anything. But he still got in for that. He got in for The Descendants. He got in for Sideways. They like him there at the DGA. And last but not least, certainly not least, we have Martin Scorsese for Killers of the Flower Moon. These five make perfect sense. I'm not shocked anyone is here or anyone who's not missing isn't here. I don't think these five will match at the Oscars. The Oscars directors branch is a little more, they're more outgoing for foreign directors. Let's just put it that way. I feel that one or both of the foreign films, Anatomy of a Fall or Zone of Interest, will get in at the Oscars. What they will bump out, who knows? But I think Alexander Payne, just based on the other films here, might be the weakest this year, but like I said, they love him at the Oscars and at the DGA. What this does prove, I will always say that, the five things I get in for DGA will absolutely get nominated for Best Picture. I'm not shocked. So essentially, this is kind of like your top five, you could say. These five movies are the likeliest to win Best Picture, and that seems accurate to me personally. I always thought Holdovers was kind of a dark horse potential winner of Best Picture. If people didn't want to pick you know, a downer movie like Oppenheimer, as amazing as it is, or Killers of the Flower Moon, and if Barbie's just a little too goofy for them, same thing goes for Poor Things for that matter, but in a different way. The Holdovers is kind of like that classic comedy drama film that everyone can like. Everyone can watch Holdovers. Everyone can enjoy Holdovers. It's not offensive to anybody. Like, and no one will get bothered by that movie. You can't hate that movie. I guess that's the simplest way to put it. So these five are awesome. But yeah, not angry here. Let's get to the other guilds. Here we have the makeup and hairstyling guilds. I sort of read through these a little bit, but I didn't look closely at. And these are always categorized by website. Go, come on, what are you doing? There we go. Feature length motion picture makeup, contemporary makeup. So that means like within the last 30 years or something like that is how they gauge it. Candy Cane Lane, of all things, got nominated at the Makeup Guild. Good for them. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, not surprising, but that missed the shortlist at the Oscars. The Haunted Mansion, everything that has something to do with Eddie Murphy in one way, shape, or form. Naiad and Saltburn, very cool, but none of those, pretty sure, none of those got in for makeup shortlist at the Oscars. So don't expect any of those to get nominated, is what I'm getting at. Best period or character makeup. This is usually kind of what they go for. Barbie, which also didn't get shortlisted for makeup. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Maestro, that's going to be a big player here. Oppenheimer, very good. And Poor Things, those will definitely, all three, I think, get nominated. Special makeup effects. This is kind of usually the big one. Golda, that got in. That's kind of one of those under the radar films that no one's really heard of in the US. I haven't either until this came out, to be honest. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Maestro, Poor Things, and Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, which is not on the short list for the Oscars. So that makes Golda look strong because that is on the short list. Maestro and Poor Things have more than one mention. Candy Cane Lane again for contemporary hairstyling. Joyride, Naiad, and Pain Hustlers, and Saltburn. Kind of surprised Saltburn to get shortlisted now, but there's not like there's no like prosthetic work or anything in Saltburn. Period hairstyling or character hairstyling. We have Barbie, obviously. Chevalier, which I forgot even existed. I remember that was supposed to come out a year ago, a year ago, not a week ago. And that did not. Color Purple made it in here, but I don't think that made it in at the Oscars either. Guardians 3 again, Maestro again. So, combining everything here, I think only 3 of these 4, because Golda. Okay, so that's probably your makeup nominees right there. Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Golda, and something else. Yeah, I don't know, because Guardians missed. So there's 4 of them. I'll have to look at the makeup list again and see what else could sneak in. That is a weird combination of movies that weren't shortlisted. I might be forgetting something on the short list. I'll have to double check at some point before we do our final, predictions and whatever. But that makes those 4 movies that I expected to get in just look that much stronger. All right, I'm looking at the Art Directors Guild next. The nominations for film here go to period film. They also separate it kind of like the Makeup Guild does. They have Asteroid City, which has been shortlisted by the Oscars, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Napoleon, and Oppenheimer. Those all make perfect sense for period film. Fantasy film, we have Barbie, obviously, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Poor Things, absolutely, The Creator, and Wonka. In contemporary, we have Beau is Afraid, John Wick Chapter 4, cool to see something like that there, Mission Impossible, Saltburn, very good, and The Killer, that's a cool nomination. It does have very interesting production design. Like, I didn't think of it too much watching the movie, but after seeing the nomination, it actually makes sense why it would be there. Saltburn has amazing. Saltburn has amazing art direction. That would be a deserving nominee, but we'll see where things go. But yeah, Poor Things is definitely getting in. I think Barbie's definitely getting in. I think Oppenheimer's definitely getting in. I could see Napoleon getting in. Killers, everything, everything in this period category absolutely has a chance to get in. It could just be these 5. It could be as simple as that. But I think Barbie is definitely guaranteed a slot. So Barbie would at least bump one of these 5 out. Good nominations though. No complaints here. I like that The Killer got in. That's very cool. Nice to see Guardians getting stuff. Color Purple did not make the Art Directors Guild. That movie is just tanking as far as like guild mentions. It did well on SAG. It did okay on SAG. It made ensemble and supporting actress, which is good, but it could have gotten more, and it's basically been missing everywhere else. And here we have the Costume Designers Guild nominees, and they separated kind of by genre or whatever you want to call it as well, time period, just to make it a little more fair. Otherwise, it's always period or fantasy. There's no like contemporary stuff usually nominated in any of these. Excellence in contemporary film. We have American Fiction nominated, May December nominated, Naiad. Naiad's doing decent in these guild nominations. That's good. Renfield, that's one I didn't expect to see, and Saltburn. Once again, I don't think any of these are going to get in at the Oscars though, as far as costumes go. Period film. We have Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Napoleon, definitely, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. Once again, it could easily just be those 5. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Give or take a Barbie. So let's see where that falls in here. Sci-fi fantasy, we have Barbie. There it is. Haunted Mansion doing stuff. Good for Haunted Mansion. Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, The Little Mermaid, and Rebel Moon, Part 1, A Child of Fire. I mean, if there's anything good about that movie that from what I've seen, it's that it does look pretty cool. So, I mean, I could see it getting some crafty guild nominations, despite how terrible the movie probably is. But Barbie's definitely going to get in and possibly win for costumes. So, pretty much, once again, I think it would be those 5 period nominees minus 1 for Barbie. And that is the Costume Designer Guild. Yeah. So yeah, not bad. Not good nominations. A lot of stuff that wasn't shortlisted popping up in the makeup one, which is kind of weird. But that just makes the ones that did pop up in the makeup one that much stronger. Like I said, you have 4 or 5 nominees right there, whatever the 5th one is, I'll just pull it out of my butt when I double check my, predictions when I do those again. Uh, because I don't think I've done my predictions since they've announced the shortlist, so I'll have some work to do, let's put it that way. But yeah, the DGA, the most important thing here, at least as far as Best Picture goes, makes perfect sense to me. I would not have been shocked if Anatomy of a Fall or Zone of Interest made it into director, but they didn't. But I still think at least one of them will get in at the Oscars because I think both of those movies are going to get into Best Picture, and usually one of those that get into Best Picture, if there's more than one, sneaks into Best Director as well. There's always that lately. There's always been that one international director getting in at the Oscars, and honestly, it's like a 50-50 shot of which one it would be. Zone of Interest is still eligible for the foreign film Oscar, unlike Anatomy of a Fall. So will they make up for that by giving it a director nomination, or will the fact that Zone of Interest almost seems destined to win international feature now, will that just make it get that 5th slot? And I think it is more of a directorial achievement, that movie, than Anatomy of a Fall. Anatomy of a Fall, I haven't seen either, I'll be honest, but seems more like a straightforward, like, thriller drama. Zone of Interest is something very different and a very it's a director's film, I'll just put it that way, as opposed to the other one, which is seems like it's just a damn good movie no matter where you're from. So, I'm happy to see Alexander Payne there. I'm glad he at least has a shot. I would have been mad if Christopher Nolan got snubbed somehow, despite how badly he seems to do at the Oscars for Best Director nominations. He's still only been nominated for Dunkirk until he hopefully gets nominated for Oppenheimer and hopefully wins for that matter. Yeah, he's been nominated at the DGA multiple times besides Dunkirk. He got in for Dark Knight. I think he got in for Memento. He got in for Inception, I think, all to be snubbed at the Oscars at the last minute. So we'll see. It happens to the best of them. Just look at Ben Affleck for Argo. He won everything and he still didn't get into the Oscars. Same goes for Ron Howard for Apollo 13 or Steven Spielberg for The Color Purple a million years ago. So it's a something always misses almost. The DGA to director swap at the Oscars usually goes 4 for 5. It's safe. Like if you want to just be safe and guess all 5 of them, you'll get 4 of them right usually. Like a couple years ago, Taika Waititi got in for Jojo Rabbit at DGA, and it was still nominated for Best Picture, and he won for screenplay, but he missed Best Director at the Oscars. There's always that one that doesn't translate. So I think that one, from what I see, I would have guessed it's going to be Alexander Payne, but you never know. We know how the Oscars love nominating women. I mean, they've been better about it lately, but that doesn't bode well for Greta Gerwig. But it's literally the biggest movie of the year, so that's got to help her out a little bit. What do you think is going to get the shaft on Oscar nomination morning? Let me know in the comments. Do you think Christopher Nolan is just an unbeatable force to be reckoned with this year? Finally, is he going to get his due for what seems to be the correct movie for him to win for, which is nice. Usually, when you get an overdue director like that, they just kind of win for something eventually. Which I would say for Martin Scorsese, I love The Departed. I would have picked that to win that year, but honestly, just given the options that year, it wouldn't have been a hard choice. But he should have won, multiple times in the past before that as his first Academy Award, and not just for The Departed, in my opinion. But I think a lot of people would agree with me that Martin Scorsese should have won long before Departed. But yeah, that's what I got for today. Please go watch my SAG reaction video if you haven't yet. There are some doozies there. I can't wait for Oscar nominations. It comes on the 23rd. I took the day off work and everything, and I'm working on my day off to make up for it, just so I can live stream it again, watch the nominations with you guys, and see how badly I did on Gold Derby after the fact. So yeah, fun stuff. Once again, my name is Derek, the Convicted Cinephile. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Shop, pop, movies.